Hello, I'm going to show you what's called data validation. And I don't know why they call it data validation. I guess it means you can only have valid information in those cells, so it's a lot more controlled. So for example, let's say I have a list here where I'm only allowed to have numbers. Okay, so you so someone's entering. And then, Jonathan, who just came back from a holiday, who's not really into it anymore, accidentally types Jonathan. Okay, in here. And then he continues on. Now he may not see this Jonathan, but let's say there's even a J, right? Can you really see that? Probably not. If you have a really big table set, that's going to happen every now and then, right? That's called human error. Now what happens is, let's say you have formulas based off this and then formulas based off that, and you got lots and lots of formulas, you got indexes, you got lookups, you got all sorts of things connected, right? Because that's the beauty of Excel. How are you supposed to find this J, right? So what you can do is you can kind of have a preemptive strike. Obviously, you can do some data analytics and data cleanups and all that kind of stuff, but that's kind of like a specialty skill. And also, if you're not that great in Excel, well, why not just prevent it, not put a band-aid solution? So what you can do is you can actually set what goes in here. You can say, I only want numbers, or I only want things that come from a list. So let me show you how to do that. All right. So I'm going to get rid of some of these, actually. Get rid of some of these. Right, so let's say in here, just in the ones I select, I want it to only be numbers. So what I do is I go to data. I go to data validation right here. Okay, and I'm going to click data validation. Right, it's going to give me this list, this dialog box. And what it's going to say is you can choose what goes into here. So let's say I only want whole numbers. That means nothing with a decimal. And I want values that go from 0 to 100. Okay, so because let's say the number that goes in there has to be percentages or something. Okay, and I don't want negative values. And then if I say an error, so let's call it error, that if someone puts in the wrong information, sorry, numbers between 0 to 100 only. Okay, then and stop. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, and we go okay. So now when I try and put values in here, you'll see that there's like a suggestion. You have to only put numbers, and actually I put it in the wrong spot. So if I go back to data validation, that error is supposed to be, get rid of that. It's supposed to go in here. I put it in the wrong spot. Sorry. All right. And then in here should be numbers only, 0 to 100. Okay. So then when I come in here, it already gives the person a suggestion, numbers only 0 to 100. Now let's say I put the word Jed, it's going to give me an error. Sorry, numbers only between. And what this does is it means you don't have to police or scan through the information. If someone's put something in there that's wrong, the data validation will handle it for you. So let's do a different type again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of data validation. So if you want to delete it, you just come in here and you switch this back to any value. Okay, let's get rid of this thing. Right, let's delete this. And let's delete this. Okay, so now let's do something a little bit different. Instead of any value, instead of number, I'm going to use list. Okay, now what list does, it means I can create a random list of things you can put in there. I can either type it in, as in, let's say, Jed, comma, John, comma, Peter, right? So if I go OK, in here, let's just clear this up. In here, I can only choose Jed, John, or Peter. Now, let's say you can also connect it to a table. So let's go back in here. Let's go data validation. And instead of typing it in, I can click on this button right here and select the list. Okay, let's go OK, OK. So now in this list, it'll be whatever's in this range here. And the beauty of this one is that you can actually have a growing list. So let's say I'm going to use the food one as an example. I know I'm eventually going to add some more different types of food in there. So I can actually include that and it'll just be blank. So let's go back in. Let's go data validation. And in the list, let's reset this. And I'm going to select a bigger range. So let's go from here all the way to here. And go OK. So now in this, I can only select the ones that I've set up. So donut, strawberry. Now, if I add in another fruit or another food of some sort, let's say ham, it will automatically be included because I've already set it to include that range, right? So this is really good for when you have forms or things that people need to fill out that kind of change quite often, right? So that's when I use it. All right. So, and that's pretty much how data validation works. So let me just check if there's like a few more that would be good for you. These are the ones I usually use. Date is a good one. So that person puts a proper date. You can have, let's say, anything in 2019. Okay. Till the end of the 2019. Okay. So then now when you put a date in, let's say I do 1st of the 1st, 2018, it won't let me. Okay, it has to be during that time period. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed and see you next time.